Trump supporters believe that millions of individuals who are undocumented immigrants were able to vote illegally. And they specifically think that this took place in states like California, which, of course, overwhelmingly lean toward the Democratic candidate. Now, CNN kind of investigated this a little bit, and New Day host Alisyn Camerota spoke to a few of these Trump supporters. Take a look at what they had to say.
Voting is a privilege in this country, and you need to be legal, not like California, where 3 million illegals voted.
Let's talk about that.
I'm glad I brought that up, Alisyn.
Me too, Paula. So where are you getting your information?
From the media. Where else
Which
are we
media?
getting? Some of it was CNN, I believe.
CNN said that 3 million illegal people voted
Well,
in
it was coming
California?
all across the media. All across. But CNN didn't do it, then they were being smart this time.
Do you think that 3 million illegal people
I
voted?
believe in California that there were illegals that voted.
How many?
I don't. To tell you the truth, nobody really knows that number.
But do you think 3 dozen or do you think 3 million?
I think there was a good amount because the president told people that they could vote, and it happened in Nashua. We caught some people that they went into Nashua and they said, the president said I can vote. I'm here illegally.
Did you hear President Obama say that illegal people could vote?
Yes,
Yes,
I did.
I heard it this morning.
Yes, I did hear it.
Tell me, where?
You can find it, Google it. You can find it on Facebook.
All right, hold on. I don't want to waste any more time, but anyway, I see where it came from, and it's Fox Business Network deceptively edited a clip of Barack Obama to argue that the president encouraged illegal immigrants to vote when in fact he had said nothing of the sort when you go back to the transcript. You, as you sit here today, think that millions of illegal people voted in this country. You believe that there was widespread voting abuse.
I think there was in some states.
In the millions of people.
California allows it. People
They do not allow illegal. You mean voter fraud? California allows.
I believe there is voter fraud in this country.
Okay, so I love the ending when she couldn't help herself. She didn't want to do it, but she's like, "You believe that California allows illegal voting? Why would they allow illegal voting?" So, but they're absolutely convinced. They're all, I mean, it's not just that one woman. You saw all of them shaking their head like, oh, yeah, they got them up in Nashua. And in California, millions of them. Obama let them do it.
We have no hope.
No.
We have no hope. We have no fucking hope. Okay, I watch videos like that, and they think they know beyond a shadow of a doubt that 3 million undocumented immigrants voted in California. No, it's just that your party sucks and Californians know it. Okay? That's why they didn't vote for a piece of shit like Trump. It had nothing to do with voter fraud, it had nothing to do with undocumented immigrants. It had to do with the fact that people in California understand that he is a fraud, he's scamming voters, he's filling his cabinet up with the same establishment individuals that you've been railing against. He lied to you, okay? He lied to you, and the news sources that you rely on also lied to you. So you're wrong. But it doesn't matter. They're going to keep believing what they want to believe. It's over. It's over. I give up. 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 No, it's true though, because they want to believe what they already believe, right? So they're gonna look at an edited clip of Obama out of context that's been reported by Fox Business. By the way, what kind of business story is that? Right?
I don't care.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They're gonna look for information that reinforces what they already believe. I'm so tired of this.
So I think the real culprit here is that we are taking the right-wing media seriously as if they're real news organizations. And they're not. Look, it'd be one thing if they, like us, gave their commentary and they said, okay, now, here are the facts, right? We agreed upon reality-based world facts. Here's the deficit under Bush, here's the deficit under Obama, and then here's my interpretation of that, or here's my perspective on that. Nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. And Fox does do a lot of that. But what they also do, and why this is so insidious, is they will put in there doctored videos, whether it's from the O'Keefe guys, was Fox Business with that. They're the ones who spread the rumor around that every black person in the country was going to get a phone from Obama, and they started calling them Obama phones.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God, I forgot about that story.
That's right. Ugh. And then once Fox does it, everybody treats it like it's legitimate because Fox is part of the White House press corps. They oftentimes lead the press organizations. The rest of the press defends them.
Yep.
Whenever Obama attacks them, and the rare times that he's done it, the rest of the press lose it. And they're like, how dare you, our beloved Fox News. And Fox News keeps injecting lie after lie after lie, and then every other right-wing website, and there's a million of them, are all like, it's okay, it's legitimate, it was on cable news. Hey, Fox News is part of the press. They're part of the press, right? And they run with it. And so then you have a wall-to-wall coverage of total nonsense. And sometimes it goes in reverse. Sometimes an organization like Breitbart will inject a lie into the bloodstream of the internet, and it'll get circled around until it gets on Fox News. And then Fox News will say, well, people are talking about it. People are talking about it. And so they circulate these lies. So they get to do that. It's a free country. But the rest of the press has an obligation to call them out and not take them seriously. So Breitbart, Daily Caller, Fox News, these are not news organizations. If they just stuck to facts and their opinion, nothing wrong with that. The Nation magazine has perspective. Weekly Standard has perspective, right? And I think that there are respectable magazines on the right who've done this for a long time, for decades. Facts, opinions, nothing wrong with that. But these guys on that are these online publications on the right and Fox News, they don't care about the truth. And they're not.
And neither do the voters, Cenk. Like, let's just keep it real. Neither do the voters. They don't care about the truth. They don't. There's been so much news about fake news stories on Facebook, warning everyone in the electorate, don't believe these stories. Make sure you vet your sources. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you investigate. These are voters. These are people who are casting a ballot and supporting someone who's going to be the leader of this country, right? You have all the resources at your fingertips. It is your obligation to make sure you know all the information necessary. But here's the thing. Voters like that don't want to know the truth, and they don't want to know the facts. They want BS that reinforces what they already believe, and that's that. That's that.
They've made a decision based on their perceived self-identity, and so they're going to just support it with whatever they see. Oh, Facebook meme, good enough.
Yeah, so guess what? Enjoy Trump. Enjoy him. Enjoy everything that he has to bring in this upcoming presidency. I'm looking forward to seeing what your reaction is going to be to it.
You know what? Enjoy him. Enjoy him. We need independent media to make sure that we hold corporate media accountable. The people that can make that happen is you. You make the Young Turks possible. tytnetwork.com/join. Join us. Be the revolution.